afternoon, Miss Berry. I'm happy to see that you could make your appointment this afternoon. So how have you been doing?
I'm good, Mr. Hall. Been doing okay. How about you this week?
I'm great. Okay, now that we're here, this is, in our previous session, we talked about your impulse control disorder and the reason why you were referred here for therapy. So since our last visit, can you tell me, or can we talk about your behavior since you left here?
Since I left the last year, the last session, I haven't stolen anything from my family members. I've been tempted to, but I just keep thinking about back to the conversation that we had, and my mom laid some money on the kitchen table for the bills to be left for my dad, and I didn't take it. I was able to just to look at the money and control myself by not getting it and putting it in my purse.
I must say that is quite impressive. So actually I've been making some progress because in our previous session, one of the previous sessions, we had asked you on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready were you to change? And you said you was at a 5. So I should ask you the same question today based upon what you just explained on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is definitely not ready to change, and indeed you are making changes. So, and 10 is definitely ready to change. What number best reflects your status today?
This week I would have to say that I am at a 7. I would give myself a 7 because I was able to leave the money on the table and not take it. I was in the grocery store and I was just going to pick up some canned goods for my mother, and I could have easily just put them in my purse and kept the money, but I actually went through the line and paid for them. So I think I'm making progress.
That sounds like you're actually making progress. So, what made you think you need to change?
Well, I'm creating a bad record for myself. I'm still young and I know I want to, graduate from college and have a career, and I can't have this on my record. And I'm just coming to the realization, and big ups to you because I don't have to steal. I just do it because it's fun for me and because I think I can get away with it. Um, there's no particular reason why I should be stealing. My mom and dad, they support me and I have a good family, but it's just fun for me, just knowing that I can get away with it. But since I got caught, I have two petty thefts on me, and I have to go to see my probation officer. I'm just realizing that this is something that I don't need to be doing because I don't want to go to jail.
Am I to understand that you have given enough consideration to realize that this is not going to be good for you in the long run, so this is why you are inclined to change?
Right, it's not. I used to do it all the time with my friends, and we used to go in, and somebody would distract the worker, and we would just pick up just random stuff. It doesn't even really make sense. And then I started to just do it on my own, and it just became fun. It became like a hobby or a habit or something, and I just couldn't control it. And the first time I got caught, I was like, hey, pay a little fine, and then I'll be okay. But then the second time, the judge wasn't as lenient on me, and he put me on probation, and then they referred me to come to see you. And then just talking to you just made me realize that what I'm doing is silly. But I just continue to do it. But now I'm realizing that I want to stop doing it.
So, being placed on the probation by the judge has been a deterrent factor for you to, like a wake up call to let you realize that what you're doing, and like you said, you take things that you don't really need. You just took the stuff just to prove that you could get away with it. Am I correct?
That's correct. And also, the judge, putting when I'm on probation, I have to pay money for being on probation and pay the courts back. And now the allowance that I get, I have to give it to the probation officer. I can't just go buy what I need. I have to, and if I don't pay them, I'm going to jail, and I don't want to go to jail. so just how hard the judge came on me and the fact that I have to pay money to a court system is not fun.
I could imagine it's not fun. And how does that make your family feel and you feel overall?
The first time I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, it's okay, because it was the the stuff that I was stealing was just like cheap clothes and shoes. And then I realized the second time my name was put in the newspaper and I was kind of embarrassed because my mom is a school teacher and people know her, and so it was embarrassing for her to go to school or work and her daughter's name is in the newspaper for stealing, and it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. And now also they'll put your in certain stores they might put my picture up in the back, and so when I go in the store the employees are just watching me, and that's not fun at all. And I didn't realize that.
Okay? Although feelings aren't right or wrong or bad, every problem has a way of making us feel one way or another. So you just described that this makes you feel bad because it has an implication on your family members, in particular your mother being embarrassed. So do you feel sad, hopeless, or tough? What is the predominant feeling overall from this kind of behavior?
I feel bad. I feel bad and I feel sad at the same time. I feel sad for my mother because she's just so embarrassed. And then even people that on some of the stores that I went into, they go to our church. And so and then I'm really into the church, and stealing is a sin. And so when we talk about the commandments, I'm thinking about, oh, I broke one of the commandments, and that really makes me feel bad. But it was just like I couldn't help it. It was like a disease. But and at first it started off like I said, it was just simple stuff, and then I started taking from my family, and that's just it makes me feel really really bad now. It's very saddening for me.
I heard you said just now that going to church and stealing from the people, the folks in the church that wouldn't know about it, and that doesn't go well for you. Seems like based upon your spirituality, it's gonna bring some form of conviction to you, and that it doesn't go down well with your thinking, your belief system.
Right, that's right. And I wasn't seeing that at first. I would maybe before church we would stop at the store and get a snack or something, and I would just go in there and steal silly stuff like peppermint, and then just for no reason. And then when we go to the church, that might be what the sermon is about taking. And then I would just sit there and be like, man, I just did that. And then after church, if we would go to Walmart or something, I would pick up something else. But in the back of my mind, I could always hear what the pastor was saying, but I couldn't help it. But I'm starting to realize now that what I'm doing is just not good.
So you're realizing that what you've been doing is not good. Suppose you don't change. What is the worst thing that might happen?
Man, the worst thing is that I'll go to prison and I won't be around my family. And if I go to prison, I won't be able to steal anything because I won't have anything. I'll be stripped from my rights and my freedom. And prison is just like the worst thing that probably could happen. I don't want to go to prison, and I know that that would also make my family even more sad or embarrassed because I'm doing something that I don't have to do. I don't have to steal. I can't help it.
With you having understanding that you're doing something that you don't have to do, how does that sit with you? That if you make the changes, how would your life be different from what it is today?
Wow. If I go ahead and make the changes, then maybe, if I stick with my probation and not, get in any more trouble, possibly I could possibly get this off of my record and it won't follow me for the rest of my life. I know it's just a phase, and I don't want it to follow me, Mr. Hall, for the rest of my life. So I have to change, not only for me, but for my future and for my family, because Nobody's gonna wanna hire a thief, or what kind of job would I be able to get, you know, if I continue to steal?
Okay? I get the sense that you are wanting to change and you are concerned about your impulse control disorder, your kleptomaniac attitude. What I hear you say is that this is a risky behavior and it's really not much, it was not really much of a problem then, but as you sit here and you said looking over your life, you realize that it is. So that is not unusual. We all have problems or challenges that we must face as we travel life road. But it's important for me to let you understand that you have been making real progress and you see the need to change. How can I help you make even greater changes in this regard?
Just by continuing to, acknowledge my accomplishments, knowing, you notice that, I started at a 5 and now I'm at a 7. You just being able to recognize that I am making progress and not being judgmental towards me. You know, most people when they found out about it, they'll be like, "You're so stupid. Why did you do that?" But you're talking to me and you're still treating me like a human being, because you see that I have a real problem and you're not just calling me stupid. You're actually trying to help me and help me understand um, that what this risky behavior that I'm participating in is not going to be good for me in the long run. So by you continuing to encourage me, I think every week I'll get better and better.
It is good that you mentioned that, because as a professional, it is my duty, or as professionals, it's our duty to not be judgmental. This is a condition that you have. It does not define who you are. You have got potential, and like you said, you want to do better to make life better for you, because you see if you continue on this path, the detriment. You said about going to prison, which is the ultimate. And as you mentioned before, your picture was already in the paper, in scores. That doesn't sit well with your future. Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
In 2 years, um, I'm right now I'm a sophomore, studying social work, and so in 2 years, I see myself, graduating from Tuskegee University with my bachelor's in social work, and you know, moving on up and possibly going to get my master's degree, just making my mother proud. So in 2 years, I just see myself walking across the stage, putting the past behind me, and moving forward in my life.
That is some great aspiration, and that's something for you to look forward to. Your commitment really shows by the fact that you have moved from a 5 to a 7, and you just explain your aspiration for graduation and moving on with your life. That is quite commendable. So in spite of what happened last week, you're coming back today to reflect that you're concerned about changing your behavior, your impulse control disorder, and that is a good thing. So I know our time is short, so I will be giving you an assignment, and I hope you stick with the assignment, so when we come back at our next meeting, we can evaluate how well you have done, because you have been making marked progress over the several weeks that you are here, and we just hope that you will continue on this path. It was nice that you stuck to the task, resist the temptation to steal the money from the table that was in the house, because I know that would not sit well with your family. So continue to working on it, trying to resist the temptation, because I know and you know that you don't want to be taken back to court for any such action. Am I correct?
That's right. I don't want to go back to court. And also, you know, when you talk to my probation officer, because he's going to be trying to contact you soon, and I need to, want you to be able to tell him that you do see that I'm progressing. Because another thing the judge did tell me is that he could put me in some type of program or something. So I want to make sure that they know that I'm trying.
Okay? You're making steady progress, and I applaud you for that. Keep working on it, because many people live lives of secret and shame because they 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 refuse to seek help, and the fact that you chose to seek help is sign enough that you really want to change. So continue on the path, and I'm going to give you the assignment, and you must stick with it, work with it. That's also going to show me how much you really want to change. So I just want to commend you again, and thank you for coming in, and just keep resisting the temptation from that control disorder, that bad behavior, as we would call it. Okay, Miss Berry, it was nice seeing you, and keep working on that behavior change.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I'll see you next week.